Welcome to Flags on Fire. We're the podcast devoted to all things flag football, where we try to get in top coaches, top players, leaders in the game, to just gain more exposure for the sport and really create more excitement to lead up to the Olympics in 2028. So today, I'm pleased to have Allison Gandlin on, which very very excited to have Allison on today. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to
Yeah.
talk about my favorite thing in the world right now.
Yes, yes, yeah, that's awesome. So let's just kind of dive right into it and talk a little bit about or start from the beginning. Talk about your origin story, part of the country you grew up, kind of your athletic background, if your family was athletic, all those things, and how it eventually led you to the sport that you love.
Yeah, so I'm from New York, New York. So sports weren't such a um, big thing in my life, particularly because my parents are also immigrants from Russia. So they weren't necessarily, they didn't have that American mindset of football, of soccer, baseball, whatever, anything. And so I was a dancer for 10 years, competitive dancing, think like dance moms, like things like that. And then I went into middle school, and in the backyard after school, we'd be throwing around a football and I couldn't catch. Like I could not catch the ball. For the life of me, I couldn't catch it. And I didn't want to leave until I could. And they said, no, you have to go home, join a rec league or something. And they pushed me off to a rec league. And then after I started playing there, there was a man on Staten Island. His name's Michael Colt. And he decided to get the best players from the rec league of all the different teams and take them to a tournament. And then all the tournaments were like, dirt, grass, things like that. And we just showed up in cotton t-shirts and started playing. And all of a sudden, our team got better. The tournaments got bigger. And as the sport grew up, so did we. And it kind of just became intertwined with us and like who we are. And Staten Island's like it's like a little hub of youth flag football, especially. And I give a lot of credit to Next Level, which is the league that's run here in Staten Island, and my coach, Michael Colt, because he brought a lot of teams off of Staten Island and out into the world. So, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've heard. I live in Arizona. I grew up in Ohio though, and football was
Mhm.
pretty big there. Although when I was growing up, the flag football wasn't really an option. But I've had
Yeah.
people on like the Steve Arnold, the Fairleigh Dickinson head coach. I've had Frank Giannakko on, which at Manhattan. So I gotten to learn a little bit more about kind of how big football is and or flag football is
Yeah.
specifically in that area of the country. So that's
Northeast. Mm.
yeah, yeah, some really good football. And from what people, I mean, from what I understand, California's pretty big too. Florida, obviously, and I coach. I have two kids. I have a 14-year-old son and a 11-year-old daughter. So I've been coaching flag for like 10 years or so. But in the last three or so, getting into it with my daughter, it's been super cool because and I think I might even enjoy that even more so than coaching the boys. It's
Yeah, a
the
lot of
same.
people say that.
Yeah, I mean it's and it's funny because she was in dance for like 6 years, but she dabbled in basketball and flag football, and
Yeah.
I think maybe her dance background kind of even helped her a little bit and the
Yeah.
coordination and
Yeah.
things like that. But now she doesn't want to do dance at all, and she strictly wants to do flag and basketball. But it's
Yeah.
cool.
Sounds very similar. Very similar
Yeah.
story.
So do you think that your background in dance kind of helped you in football?
1000%. Like that's where all my athleticism stems from. I think athleticism, it's not even like where currently your ability to do anything right now. It's more the way that you can control your body and having like being able to put yourself in different positions that you've never experienced before, not falling over. Please, you should have seen me when I was first starting. I would just spin my way down the field. I didn't know how to run a route, didn't know how to make a move, but I would just like twirl down the field and it just worked out. And spin move just came easy. So
No,
I
but
think it really helped.
it's funny because I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and back years ago when they were winning Super Bowls in the '70s, they had one receiver. His name was Lynn Swan, but he was a very graceful receiver, made these acrobatic catches, and he had a background in ballet, and he did a lot of
Ooh.
ballet dancing. But he had great body control and yeah,
Yeah.
just made spectacular catches.
Yeah. So
You know,
I,
I'd
I
be
always
interested
consider myself
because
an athlete, but never like a ball sport athlete until football. So it was really my first sport like
yeah,
that.
and you just immediately you were hooked by it. It sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, I really was. I think I never played a team sport before because dance isn't necessarily like you have a dance team, but it's not like you're relying on each other so much in that way. And so starting to play that kind of like a team sport and having a sport that like it's very niche, very, very niche. So it's not like anyone really knew what it meant to be good at that sport. So I was like, we're just kind of figuring it out. And I fell in love with it so fast. It's such a unique and diverse like experience. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I got to ask you because I mean, you obviously became elite at catching football. I've seen a lot of your highlight clips and things like that. And you said at the beginning you couldn't catch a cold really.
Thank God. Yeah.
But and I struggle with like I mean we are a group of girls. We would coach in that multiple seasons now. They've gotten to be pretty good for the little rec league that we do, but always struggling to get
Yeah.
them to catch better and teaching them kind of the diamonds. And we try to give them homework where you got to do 50 catches a night, at home and come back
Yeah.
and have them run a lap if they don't, type of things. But like, what do you attribute to like you going from not being able to catch at all to becoming such, somebody that's so great at catching the football?
Yeah, I think aside from just reps, definitely including gym into my like routine in some way. I think that having being able to know that you're strong and that like the grip strength that comes from lifting any sort of weights, I think that really changed my game 1,000% because I'm not scared to go for the ball. I'm not scared to be aggressive to it and to go to grab it with my hands because my hands feel
And through
strong.
contact, yeah, right. I
Yes,
mean,
exactly. And so, yeah, the experience and a lot of reps, but also just lifting heavy weight, moving heavy things, doing hard things, because then you feel a little more confident in your body and a little like, more strong in your movements, I guess.
sure. So you obviously you started to play rec and then into some tournaments and stuff, and obviously you got to the point where you were very very good. Like, how did that road lead? Were you playing in a high level club team for years?
Yeah, so I played on a club team throughout like my entire high school experience, but my freshman year of high school was actually COVID. I was a little baby. And during COVID, that was like probably the best thing that could have happened for my athletic career because I couldn't stand being inside and all I could really do is be outside and run around in a park. So I was at the field literally every single day. And I had nothing else to do. Literally just we had fun. We went to the field, we ran around, got faster, got stronger, and um after that, it was just kind of like finding more opportunities to play. Like I really had to be a self-advocate. I really had to advocate for myself to try and find different places where I could play. And so in high school, my high school didn't have a flag team, so I joined the tackle football team. And then my senior year, I got hurt, so my tackle season was off, was like there was nothing there. And so in the spring, I was like, I need film if I want. At that point, I was like, okay, it's possible for me to like go low D2 for tackle football if I really tried. And so I was like, I need more film. I wanted to play more. And so I joined another school's flag football team. And then I also played women's semi-pro. So that was all while I was in high school. I was going to school, flag after school for like another high school team, then women's tackle practice or my club team practice. I was just playing football all the time, like literally 24/7. And, overuse injuries happened and I became a smarter athlete. But overall, that was kind of the more experience I got, the more like imp the more football IQ I built up. Really just changed me as an athlete, even though like physically I might not have been as strong. I was kind of small in high school, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so
What year did you graduate? 2024,
23.
23. So at that time, there really weren't many high school girls flag teams, right? Women's flag
Actually,
teams.
in Staten Island, there almost every school has had a flag team for many years, many, many years. It
Varsity
just
level.
Yeah, it's just that my school didn't specifically because my school is a smaller technical high school
Oh,
and so we didn't really there was just not as much interest and like we didn't have enough people. But maybe now they do, maybe now they want to. I don't know.
well, I mean, I gotta imagine if you were a senior in high school, like right now, with as much as it's exploding, especially with the college level, like the
Yeah.
more and more Division I programs and some of these
Exactly.
NAI schools they're powerhouses and things like that. So it's interesting. I mean, I would imagine. Well, and let's back up. I guess talk about. You talked about you got football in any way you could. You played in the tackle team. You played semi-pro. You played flag on a club team. How did you have any idea that you were when it got to the point where you were announced the first I think it was 2024 the first NFL
Yeah.
Flag Women's Player of the Year. How were you on their radar?
So I was still playing in NFL flag tournaments and like I said, we've been going to these tournaments since we were like 14. And then at that point, I think I was 18 when I won that. And the director, it was really all coming from the directors of like NFL flag tournaments. They were like sending it out to coaches, being like, hey, nominate a player for this. Like, we think she'd be good for that or whatever. So they just sent my coach an email with an application link and be like, hey, have Allison apply. We think that she'd be good for this. Like, we think like she could do well. And I thought it was gonna be, I don't know if you ever saw like before when they posted like NFL flag play of the week type of thing and like someone
Mhm.
sent in a
Yeah.
clip. I thought it was gonna be something like that, where I just apply and they announce, okay, yeah, NFL Flag Player of the Year, cool. I did not know how big that it would be. I actually think I got my application in a little late. I was just like putting it off. I was in school, first year of college. It was just a little crazy. And when I submitted my application, they asked for things like that you have to write a person like an essay, then you have to have a coach write an essay about you. You have to send in highlights. You have to like they're really looking at you as an overall player, not just like player and human being, not just like what you do on the field. And I think holistically, like my score, they tallied it up, they scored it. I don't know how they scored it, but my score was higher and then they called my name and I really did not expect them to call my name, honestly. But just because I respected all the other finalists that were around me. So I was a little scared, but
But did you
it
was it announced on the ESPYs? Was that what it was?
it was the NFL honors.
NFL honors.
So
Okay, yeah, I've seen that before. So you got invited to that. Did you know before that you won it or not, or were you surprised when they announced? Or well, you
um
got surprised when they announced it.
I knew a week before. So we were at NFL Flag Championships and they were like, okay, these are the five finalists. So they announced the finalists like a month before. Then they said, these are the five finalists. They had us all up on stage and they did like an interview type of thing, with a camera for each person, private interview. And then they announced it on the stage at the NFL Flag Championships in the, like I said, a week before the NFL honors. And then they were like, okay, so whoever, right before they announced it, they said, whoever wins this is going to Vegas next week. And I was like, going to Vegas next week. And so I had to actually I was rowing at the time for Rutgers and I missed a weekend because of championships and I missed another weekend because of Vegas. And I was like, sorry, coach, I can't come back to practice. And he's like, are you crazy? Like what? I was like, I'm gonna be turn on your TV. Like I'll be there. I promise. I'm not lying.
But
So
could you tell him? You couldn't tell him though, right? That you won.
I think I did tell him. I don't know if I should have, but I
Yeah,
did because
yeah,
I didn't know how else to explain. But
yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. So, well, how was that experience? Did you get to meet? I got to imagine you got to meet a lot of cool
I
people.
meet many cool people. And at that time, because it was the first, it's really hard to be the first to anything. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie, I do so much respect for all the women that came before me, being some of the first in football. And at that point, I was the first. I was the first woman to ever win an award at the NFL honors. And because like there have been other women who've accepted awards on behalf of their husbands or their sons or things like that, but I was the first woman to ever win an award at that ceremony. And being there, it was like no one kind of people don't pay you any mind because also you're the youth and they're like, what do you mean NFL Flag Player of the Year? No one cares, no one knows what that is. And so like we were on the red carpet, but like people were just kind of like they didn't really care. And it was cool. It was a great experience. Got to meet people, and some of the players were so nice. Like shout out to Bijan Robinson, right? That's his name. Yes.
yeah.
I think that was the person that was like really, really kind to us and because he really likes flag as well. And yeah, Diana Flores was there. Just I'm just thinking the people that really highlighted the flag players and really cared. Um, and it was a really great time. Met so many cool people and learned a lot about myself, frankly, through that experience. The only thing that I would say is that I think that was just the beginning of everything. I think that God really put me in that position to do more. That was not it was not a culmination of everything that I did in the past. That was a tool that now gives me like some sort of voice that I can use for other things. And it makes me think I have to uphold all those values that the NFL placed in that award.
So almost it
And
makes you feel like you have some responsibility to carry, like
yeah, exactly.
to be a strong ambassador, or kind of a pioneer for the sport.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, and that I could see that, putting a little bit of pressure on yourself to be like, hey, I gotta set a good standard here,
Yeah.
which is cool. How much did your life, if any, change at all after that?
I think a lot. Not in the sense of like, oh, I got a lot of publicity, things like that, but just it got me really involved in my community a lot more. It made me look for opportunities to do things. And like I said, it made me have a voice. And so people would invite me to go places and be like, hey, like, do you want to come speak to these girls or these kids? And now whenever I go anywhere, it feels like just by me being there, it shows young athletes that like someone cares, or that someone like there is somewhere for you to go. Like all these young girls now see something that they can accomplish. I never thought that there would be anything that I can accomplish in flag. I was just kind of like la di da di da, like whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And and now is there's somewhere to go. And I think that it changed more me, my mindset, and that changed my life rather
Okay.
than anything
Yeah.
physical. But yeah.
Okay. So you graduate high school 2023. You go to Rutgers freshman in 2024. At what point did you like? I also think it's really cool that correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of had to do all the heavy lifting to get it to be the club sport, flag football, to be a club sport for
Yeah.
Rutgers.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about talk a little bit about that.
So my freshman year, I was just looking for other sports to play. I tried everything. And like I said, I was rowing for like my first half of my freshman year. Wasn't for me. I'm definitely more of like a ball sport athlete now, but that was not for me. It's a great time. A lot of respect, not my sport. Then I was just trying a lot of different things and I was like, okay, there has to be something after flag football. Like, what do I want to do to stay active? And I was trying to just gym, trying to run, trying everything. And then sophomore year, halfway through, I kind of gave up and I was like, there's nothing like my own sport, and this sport is going to be so big. I have to do something about it. Like, I have to do something about it because if I don't do it, who will, you know?
Mhm.
And as a student, I think I'm the most equipped to start a good program and make it get going fast. So I think it was my spring semester sophomore year where I went to the club sports director and I was like, how do I like propose this? How do I submit an application to have this become a thing? And first, I kind of just had to show them the data saying that now there's this league and that league, and there are a ton of schools in our area that have it. And then eventually, as it got more, I had to create a budget and a proposal saying like how much it would cost us. I had to find people to be my vice president and my treasurer. And I literally just turned, looked at my friends, my coworkers. We all work in Rutgers football, so we all like know football, around football. I'm like, okay, you're gonna be my VP. Cool. You're gonna be my treasurer. Yeah, yeah, come. And then we just started it. And no one thought that it would get anywhere near what it is right now. It was kind of just like, okay, anyone who joined our interest meeting, do you want to do our social media? Like, you want to do our this? You want to do our that? And it just kind of worked out. And I literally cannot believe it was something that did not exist. And now it's there because it's me and my VP say all the time, this feels like our baby because we put so much time and effort into it. And we were literally just grasping at straws. We had no idea what to do. And it wasn't even like we can look at other schools to see what they do because every school is like a little different with like their club stuff and especially now that we're a D1 school, same way Wagner is, and it was just I don't know, it was very, very difficult to get things going, but I had to be very creative and just be like, okay, whatever I want to do, I could do, and we'll figure it out. We'll see if it works. So here we are.
Yeah, no, that's great. Do you know who Nick Sandona is? Have you heard of him?
I think I've seen the name actually.
He's a national manager for NERSA, and I didn't know what
Okay,
NERSA
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
was.
emailed me.
Yeah, I didn't know what NERSA was. He was working with the Detroit Lions, and kind
Okay.
of their community type of group, and then he just took the position with NERSA. I had him on a week or two ago, but the way he explained what his role is to make it easier for people to have, so that all the things that you felt and how difficult it was and the roadblocks that you ran into and all the administrative efforts to make it easier for people like yourself to create not only to create the sport but to maintain the sport as well. It sounds so. it sounds like he'd be a good person, for you to maybe connect with as well. And I mean, they just announced I think the 16 teams are going to be part of that league. Is Rutgers? I didn't know. Is Rutgers one of those teams?
As of right now, no. There's a lot of being that it's like the first time that something like this has happened, we have literally no idea where to go right now. We were actually in the league that Frank Giannacco created, the NCFFL, um, and it was going well, but I don't know where we're going now. I've talked to my club director a lot, and we have no idea what to do. So still down.
If Nick emailed you, I would email him. I think he might be just the person to
Yeah.
help you out.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
de definitely creates a lot of structure for the sport. I think it's so amazing to have something that like connects all those big D1 like club teams
yeah.
because that's gonna be the way that we get the NCAA going.
Do you foresee Rutgers anytime in the near future becoming a varsity level non-club option?
Actually, I just saw that the a couple weeks ago the NCAA voted or something like that. They had a meeting, talks, things like that. I think by 2028 there's going to be so it's going to be an emerging sport maybe this year and then 2028 spring season. That's probably going to be the first ever
National
Division
championship.
One. I think so. I don't know about Rutgers specifically, but I think in general NCAA 2028 spring season.
So have you been tempted? I mean, did you always know you're going to go to Rutgers, or was that kind of or you? That's just the way that it turned out.
I literally have no idea how everything worked out so well. I did not plan nearly well enough for college. But it was just, it's close. I commute right now and I love being in Staten Island.
Yeah,
So, and there's so many different things to do. And I don't know, really like the color red. It was great.
yeah.
So
I was just wondering, have you heard from any other schools or coaches where it's been and it's now D1 where they're trying to like recruit you to come play?
actually, yes. Actually, yes. It's very actually, I feel very flattered because people are now like DMing me or texting me and coaches are like getting in contact with me saying like I wouldn't be doing my part as a coach if I didn't ask you if you were interested. And I was like, I really love my position where I'm at right now. And I I'm very big into school and I love what I'm studying and I'm getting a master's degree at Rutgers too, God willing. So I don't really have any intention to leave, but
Yeah,
it's very
gotta be.
cool to see that like the
Yeah, you're
opportunity is
flattered, like you said.
yeah, yeah.
For sure. Well, in the meantime, you at least get to play at a high level. Like I took my daughter to a Arizona State Grand Canyon University club game, and it was fun. I mean, and it was good. It was high level competition. So I saw firsthand kind of that level that you're getting to play against. And do you have any aspirations of trying to try out for the U.S. women's national team or any of that stuff?
Yeah, so when I was on the 17U US national team and then after that like the first ever one actually. Then after that I tried out for the women's team like 3 years in a row, didn't make it. I wasn't just like there as an athlete yet. And then shortly after, I started becoming more religious, and I realized that my religious values, I would not be able to uphold them while also playing for Team USA. It would just be a little too difficult. And in the sense of like travel and things like that
Sure.
and diet. Um, so I decided to look into a way to play with also that also values my roots and my culture. And so I actually play for Team Israel and I'm on the Israeli women's national team, and I played with them in the Euros last year. And I believe since we didn't place top three or something like that, then we didn't qualify for Worlds. And I don't know if that takes us out of like the Olympic running because
Yeah.
I have literally no idea how this is gonna work in terms of choosing which countries go to the Olympics. I mean,
Sure.
it's kind of like up in the air a little bit, but not really. Um, so yeah, so right now I'm playing with them, and no matter what, like Olympics or not, I'm realizing that this is like I felt more myself playing for my country, like my people's country, than I ever have playing in America because in America sometimes it feels like we're all striving to get to the spotlight and people feel like they're clawing each other down and It's been very difficult for me mentally, especially because I got into it at such a young age
Sure.
and spotlight was on all of us from a very young age. And so I'm trying to like heal my relationship with like playing to play and working to work, like
Mm.
working hard to work hard. And I've been really enjoying it. I think I'm getting to like my peak athlete phase, physical and mental. And yeah, thank God. So.
Good for you. No, that's awesome.
But no, like no shade to Team USA because they are all like people that I look up to, like coaches, the people running the program and all the players. And I like I think what they have going is absolutely incredible and it's a dynasty. And my friends actually I think are currently I don't know when the roster's coming out, but my friends were trying out and so I'm really rooting for all of them to succeed as well, you know.
Yeah, I'm having Amber Clark Robinson on, and I've seen that she's been playing practicing with the team or on the roster at this point and coaching at Saginaw Valley State too. So it'd be interesting to kind of hear from both perspectives as a coach and then also
Yeah.
as a high level player too. But yeah, I can imagine your friends are friends with a lot of those people.
Yeah, I really hope like I want to see everyone succeed because it's like it's seeing all it's people like all my age now that are like trying
Yeah,
to, so cool.
yeah, that's awesome. All right, so now for the next segment is called Chalk Talk. So for you, all the years you played, and I gotta imagine that you have a lens now as kind of more like a player coach, really, of some sort. Do you actually? I mean, while you're out there playing, are you doing some coaching too?
Yeah, I'm pretty much our defensive coordinator right now. So we have like
Okay,
an OC coach and slash overall head coach and I come up with our defenses.
okay, yeah. So if maybe kind of highlight or put the spotlight on maybe your favorite play or concept.
Yeah, so when it comes to defense, I play a lot of safety, but one of my favorite things is playing down at linebacker low. And I think a really great kind of mix between the two that not like we've come up with, but we've kind of integrated into our play calling is inverted cover two. So
Mhm.
we have our safety come down and our two corners play back. And I think it's really helpful for our corners because they're coming from the outside position. They're able to see everything, like any corners that are coming at them, all the flies, they're already in position to cover them. And when the safety's coming down, you're taking away that whole middle read for the quarterback in the beginning because the safety's up top. And when you roll down into coverage, we're really able to cover everything short. I just love being down low in the box. So yeah, that's one of my like favorite things to call. And I think the girls really like it too, because it's movement, it's complicated, it's working their minds, and they're starting to see how it's really messing with the quarterback's head to have the corners start low and come back and have the safety start high and come up and disguise their coverages. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things right now.
It's funny because I mean, your experience, you're obviously playing sevens now, but like growing up, did you play sevens? Did you play fives? What did you?
No, I played fives like my entire time growing up. And then when I played tackle football, I got into like the mindset of I started to understand the sevens game a little more, but still not to the level of like flag football sevens is another level. Um it's another level of art at least. That's what I'd call it. And the first time I ever played 7-on-7 was in a national tournament in Florida. Oddly enough, Frank Janaka was my coach
Oh, really?
for that. Yeah. And so we had like a one-time thing where we had like bandits jerseys, like blue, pink. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. It was a great time and I really liked the game then, but it's a completely different game than fives. Completely different. It's
Yeah, and
yeah.
I don't. I mean, with just some of the coaching I've done, it's been more well fives and sixes, but never really sevens. I know high school and college is all sevens. So trying
Yeah.
to wrap my head around some of the differences where there's no blitzer at the 7 yard line. It's more within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, right? And then you
Yeah.
have like a screen blocker, just one.
It depends on what people like.
You could
So
have more than one.
yeah, you can have more than one. Theoretically, you can have many, I
Do
think.
they have to be? Could they be starting at the line of scrimmage, or they have to be in the backfield, or are there any rules pertaining to who screen
So
blocking?
I think that they can start closer to the line of scrimmage, but I don't see how sometimes that's not really beneficial because you're not really going to be able to get back fast enough to like read, to
Yeah.
create a good pocket for your QB. But really, really depends on the coach. I'm not gonna lie, because it's coached so differently right now. There's no like standard. But
Yeah.
tag football, there's a standard. Like there's positioning and there's ways that coaches like it, and most of it's the same across the board for a lot of different teams. It's technique. Right now, flag technique is like being honed. There's no really like one way to do it. And I think this is a very crucial period to define what exactly we should be doing, you know?
Mm.
So yeah. I can't necessarily say that there's one way or the other, but it's definitely works differently for different people.
Right. So before I go into the kind of the rapid fire segment where I'll ask some questions to you, the one other thing that I want to know would be if you were giving your best advice to the parents of a young girl or a young girl who's grown up who loves flag football, loves the game, has aspirations of wanting to maybe go far in it, what would you tell them?
I feel like my answer to this changes every time based on what I'm struggling with at the moment. But right now, I would say that no matter how limited like you may feel, whether it be in opportunity or you don't feel like you're strong or fast enough, or you feel like you're not getting enough playing time, just and whenever you think that there's any physical limitations on you, you have to understand that this one experience is not defining of you as an overall athlete. So I always felt like I wasn't fast enough, like I wasn't strong enough. And sometimes maybe I wasn't. But at the end of the day, it was about me continuing to play and pushing myself more. And I guess you could say working harder, but really it's just I want to stay in this game for as long as possible because it makes me a better person outside of it. Because I really enjoy playing and it makes me happier. And so then I'm able to be happier with my friends and my family. And I want to stay playing sports for a very long time. And I don't want to have like a bad experience with it. I don't want to put myself down. I don't want to say, okay, well, like eventually I'm going to slow down. And I don't want to say that when I slow down, I'm going to stop playing because that's not how it works. That's not
Yeah.
how life works. And I think no matter how physically limited you feel, always remember that this is about like you are a football player. You are an athlete. You are supposed to be here. And this is something that you can keep with you for the rest of your life. It's not about winning. It's not about the titles. It's not about anything like that. It's about respecting yourself as an athlete. And that is what's going to make you the happiest. So I think like really focus on that and it
Yeah, no,
changes
that's
everything.
outstanding. That's outstanding advice. All right, so let's see. For the rapid fire section, what would you say? I mean, I guess it'd be different for coaches. I you typically ask the best athlete to ever coach, but maybe for you, the best athlete you either played again with or against, or even coach. It could be any of those.
Yeah. Let's get- wow, this is hard. So I have so many different people. I think a person that I really, really respect, I think she actually plays for ASU, if I'm not mistaken. But you know, Kiona Westerlin, Kilolo.
I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah. So she and I played together a few times with SIG. If you know, SIG is like a youth club team. Um, but we played together a few times. She's from Nevada. I don't know how people pronounce it,
Yeah.
but she is a person that I really deeply respect. And she's also been put in the limelight. And also, she really respects herself as an athlete and she's talented. And I know that now that she's in college, she's going to do so many great things and she's going to take her game to the next level. And I've had really like real talks with her, genuine conversation. And I think she's one of my favorite athletes to play with and against and to watch just because she knows herself and I really respect her. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Um, what would you say your favorite football movie ever is?
Football movie.
Yeah.
Is it bad that I don't think I've watched so many football movies? What are some examples that people do?
The one that everybody keeps saying is Remember the Titans. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it. I've seen clips of it. Like I remember one, you know what? I think it's that movie, one clip where he's bear crawling with someone on his back all the way across the field,
Yeah,
blindfolded.
yeah. Uh-huh.
That.
That's cool.
Love that clip.
You should what you would love you would absolutely love the movie.
I
Rudy,
should
I don't know if you ever heard of Rudy. That's a good one. It's about the guy that he grew up as a Notre Dame fan. He wanted to play for Notre Dame so bad, but he was kind of small in stature, and he worked at it. It was based on a true story, although I'm sure it was embellished a little bit. But it was a it's a feel good movie, and it'd be worth watching. I mean, judging by how much you love football, I mean, I gotta imagine you would love both those movies. So.
Definitely. I definitely should. Oh, embarrassing. But yeah.
So you may not have an answer to this because it doesn't sound like you grew up really watching NFL football, but did you have a favorite NFL player or do you have one now?
I didn't before, but now I guess who's that one Bills player? Mac Hollins. I think
Yeah,
that's his name. One Bills player where he's like always like in ice baths and barefoot and things like that.
yeah, yeah.
So my vibe. I love that man. And like like everything about it. And that's the kind of life that I want to live.
Yeah,
And yeah, so he's definitely one of
that's
my favorites.
that's awesome. If there was one rule that you could change in flag football, what would that be?
Mm. Oh, that's a good question. I have no idea. Oh, when there's like um I don't know if this is in every league, but like false start on the center type of
Mhm.
thing. I don't know if
Does
that's
that
in
get called a
every
lot? And because I mean, they're
no.
snapping one-handed. If they move it at all, like, will they call it?
Yes, actually in international rules, you're not allowed to move the ball. I think that which is like it's fair because in regular football and tackle football you can't move the ball either, but being able to adjust it is definitely like I definitely think that that should be allowed.
So you can't even do that in international. Once the ball's down, you put your hand on it, you cannot move it.
Yeah.
Really? And
Yeah,
they'll
you
call
can't pick
that
it up, you
regularly?
can't like move. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be annoying if they called that a lot.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say is the best tournament atmosphere you've ever played in?
Tournament atmosphere? I think we there's the first ever all female, all girls tournament. We run the world FFL. It's like mo it was mostly in PA. Now they're all over the country. FFL
Mhm.
tournaments, they're youth tournaments mostly. First ever all women's tournament. The first time they ever had it. I don't remember what year it was. But that was one of my favorite things because there was just so many people there to support, and you saw women coming, and you saw women playing, you saw girls playing, and just everything was like colorful and so many people. So yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Do you think there's a most underrated position in flag football?
rusher,
Yeah.
1000% rusher, thousand
Okay.
percent. Yeah, I don't think people give it enough respect, the position, because you think it's just running fast. It's not at all.
But a
At
great one
all.
could be absolute game changer, right?
Yes. And like if you can tell the difference when you're playing with a very experienced like as a defender, you could tell it changes the entire game when you're playing with an experienced rusher versus not.
Okay, so tell me what I mean outside of being fast and being able to break down, because I know it's like even with the kids that I coach, you're like, okay, we try to put a fast kid in there, and if they can't control their speed or they can't, break down or they fly by, then that doesn't really do you a lot of good. But I mean, what in
Yeah.
your opinion, what do you think makes an elite rusher?
I think, yeah, knowing like when to break down, great. Also knowing like which hip to go for, taking note of things like is the quarterback righty or lefty? You look at like if you know what defense is behind you too, that also changes a lot, which not a lot of rushers do. Not a lot of rushers do. But if you know that you're in a cover two, putting your hands up in the middle versus like out to the side if you're in a cover one, or just like little nuances and just picking up on like the quarterback's movements. I think rushing from a specific side, just I think being up here is really where the rusher game like changes everything. But I was never a rusher and I probably will never be a rusher. So I can't necessarily explain because I'm definitely not in that kind of position. But yeah. So
You know a good one when you see one, though.
yeah, 1000%.
So in your opinion, if you got a championship level team, what do you think is more imperative to winning a championship? Great quarterback play or great defense?
Defense. Definitely defense. Defense changes an entire game. And
Yeah.
I've always been a big defense
You play
person.
offense too, or no?
I do, 1,000%. I do. And like I'm not gonna say I suck at it because I am good. I'm a good receiver. I've been really honing my craft there as well. I was a good center. I am a good center, but I just love defense, and I think it changes everything because when you're changing your defense and tricking the offense, that puts you no matter what on the offense, like on the attack.
Yeah.
When you can attack while you're on defense too, and I
Yeah.
think that's what I love.
Who would you say is the best pure quarterback you've ever seen or played against in flag football?
Pure quarterback.
Or best
What do you mean?
quarterback? Best overall quarterback.
Like other than playing against like Vanita Crouch or Lacey from I think she plays with Apex mostly. I think that's what it's called. But Lacey, Vanita, and I'm really biased. I like playing with my quarterback. I love my quarterback, Valentina Finetti. I love her. Love her so much. She was on like the roster
For
for
Team USA?
yeah. Like not like
She
the final 12, but she was like in the 18 last year, and I think she got invited to go to the training camps this year. I love her.
I've heard her name actually.
Yeah.
Never seen any clips of her play, but
Yeah.
she
She's a
can sling it.
lefty, so it's a little different,
Really?
but I love her. Just because we grew up together. I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
biased. That's what it is.
Yeah. What's your pregame music? What do you play before a game?
I I used to say that I play country, and sometimes country gets me turned up. I don't know why, just 'cause maybe it's the words. But now it's a lot of like a boogie, a lot of just like things with hard beats, like the
Yeah.
Baby and Drake, just like classic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And then of all the different places you've traveled to play flag football, what city or state do you think has the best flag football culture in your opinion? And it could be where you're from in the Northeast. I mean,
Yeah, no, I think it's Pennsylvania. Maybe
Pennsylvania.
like just because the Northeast is really I don't know what it is, it's built different. Maybe it's because it's my home, but when I grew up playing in that same tournament complex I was talking about at We Run the World, that tournament, like it just I don't know what it is. There's a lot of youth up here playing and coming from all over. So
Yeah,
definitely Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey.
nice.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'll ask you would be if you're in my shoes and you're trying to have a podcast that's trying to bring exposure, bring light to the game, get more people maybe to pay attention to it, and it could be coaches, it could be top players, it could be administrators. Like who would be some people that I should absolutely want to try to get in front of.
Um, Aside from coaches, like you're already doing, I think definitely talking to players that have played. Um, there's a lot of undercover players that are really, really great, especially like on the men's side, um, who play all over the place and play against these like really high level athletes, and they've been around the game for so long. I think finding more players that have been involved in this game for a long time that don't necessarily get all the limelight in the sense of like old like past national team players definitely like those rosters are full of people that know a lot that have seen the game grow and were there when Team USA had con t-shirts and dirt fields. So I think trying to find some of those people. I know one of those people, Karen Mulligan. I played tackle football with her. Um, that was like years ago. And then even like my Rutgers coach right now, he's not he doesn't I'm not saying he was like at that level, but he plays and he coaches and right now he's gonna go to China and he's gonna coach a team in China and he's just playing all over the place. And oh
Did you started the program? Are you the one who found him?
yeah, so I've played with him before in like co-ed and
Mhm.
he's definitely one of those people who's just like he plays all over. And so
Yeah.
like everyone kind of knows who he is, but he's not like, really he's not that kind of athlete. He's more like just he just plays everywhere, and so everyone knows
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
But yeah, so I played with him and I was like, I feel like you're a person that really respects me and what I think and really respects the game and loves the game. And he coaches youth as well. He coaches like young girls and like women. So yeah.
very nice.
But definitely past national team players for sure.
Yeah, well, if you think of anybody, maybe one off, email me or something. Yeah, that'd be awesome because I'm always looking for great. Maybe I'll try to look up Karen and see if I can get a hold of her. But no, I appreciate the insight. And before I let you go, is there anything that maybe we didn't touch on that you'd wanna say to the audience?
And nothing other than the sport is huge and really I can't believe that I've gotten so far. I can't believe that so many of my friends have gotten so far. Like we got in it at such a good time, like just before it got too big to where it's like too hard to get into and when it's a little more developed. Um, so really I don't know. I'm just happy that you're doing this and I'm happy that the sport's growing so much and that media and marketing changes a lot. And so a lot of respect to the NFL. And Frank Giannacco, he put a lot of emphasis on media in the tournaments that we went to for NCFFL.
Mhm.
And it really does. It changes the entire thing. It makes everyone want to play.
Yeah,
So this everything that you're doing right now and everything that he was doing and photographers, mad respect to the photographers because
yeah,
they are the ones who made this game what it is. Photographers, videographers, any marketing team, like they are the reason why the sport is big. Like we can say whatever we want now, but it's them.
yeah. Appreciate that. And I really appreciate your time and jumping on. And like I said, I see you as getting to learn, to know more about you and kind of your story, like you really being that responsibility that you felt and you want to kind of uphold a certain standard for your sport that you love so much. And kind of, I see you as kind of a pioneer in that sense. So that's so awesome. What you're, not only what you did and to get that award, but the responsibility that you see going beyond that, like you said, just kind of getting started and, just creating a club team out of thin air. All the hard work that goes into that is just one example, one great example of that. So again, thank
Yeah.
you so much, and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, have a great day.
You as well.